He woke up alone in a strange place. At first, he couldn't remember why. But as he looked around, his memory began to come back. It was all coming back now. How he got here, why he came, what he had to do. Adebayo was no longer Adebayo. Now he was the new Ọgbanje, cursed to wander the world until the end of time. It started innocently enough. Adebayo just needed a souvenir to remember his trip to Nigeria. He wandered the colorful markets looking for something unique until he found it. A forbidden mask. The weathered wooden visage seemed to mock him from the shelf, carved from some dark wood. The mask had a vacant stare and strange symbols branded into its surface. Though it wasn't particularly valuable, the vendor seemed extremely reluctant to part ways with it. You must understand, the old man rasped, beads of sweat forming on his forehead despite the cool air of the market. The Ọgbanje is not an object, it is a being. Adebayo waved away the old man's concerns. Don't be silly, it's just a mask. How much? The vendor hesitated, then spat on the ground and wrapped the mask in a faded cloth. Take it, I don't want your money. And with that, he handed over the package. That night in his hotel room, Adebayo unwrapped the mask and hung it on the wall. The first night was uneventful, but as midnight chimed, scratching sounds echoed from the mask as if tiny claws were scraping against its surface. Then he heard a whisper, not in English or his native tongue, but a voice that spoke to his very soul. His name dotted was his name, and as he turned to look, he could have sworn the mask's gaze shifted. For a moment, the lips that had been sealed shut twitched, as if whispering secrets only he could hear. Shaking off these strange sensations, he tried to sleep, but the mask seemed to mock him. As hours passed, he could have sworn the eyes in the mask gleamed faintly, like embers in the darkness. On the second night, the horrors returned, but this time the mask wept. At first, it was just a trickle, a dark, viscous liquid seeping from the eye sockets. But soon it became a torrent. Adebayo watched in horror as the liquid flowed down the sides of the mask, staining the wooden surface. The stench of decay filled the room. He fumbled for the lamp, plunging the room into darkness, hoping that would stop the ghastly display. But when he turned the light back on, the weeping had stopped, leaving behind the dark stains on the mask, resembling eyes burning with hellfire. The mask was smiling now, and Adebayo felt a cold dread grip him. As dawn approached, he made a decision. He would get rid of the mask, return it to the vendor, and beg for forgiveness. But when he touched it, searing pain shot up his arm. His fingers burned as if touched by hot iron. He pulled back, staring in disbelief as his fingertips blackened and seared. It was as if the mask was a brand, searing his skin. In agony, he stumbled back, knocking over the table. The mask fell to the ground, but when he looked, it was already on the wall again, its eyes burning into his soul. Trapped in a nightmare, he ran from the room, desperate for help. In the bustling city, he found solace in the local museum. There, amidst the rich history, he hoped for answers. One of the curators, an elderly woman with kind eyes, examined the mask. Her expression turned grave. "This is no ordinary artifact," she whispered, her voice heavy with concern. "It is a vessel for an Ọgbanje spirit, an immortal being of immense power, capable of great good or unspeakable evil. According to tradition, the spirits could possess humans, but only those deemed worthy or foolish enough to accept their presence. The spirits were typically held by powerful individuals known as Dibia, who used their connection to the Ọgbanje for protection and guidance. But if the Dibia lost control or died, the spirit could be released, causing havoc until a new host was found. She believed the mask was trying to find a new Dibia and had chosen Adebayo, whether he liked it or not. But he didn't believe any of it. When he returned to his hotel room, the mask was back on the wall, its eyes gleaming in the dark. No matter where he went, the mask followed. He tried returning it to the vendor's stall, but the old man had vanished without a trace. He took it to the Dibia's house, but the spirit simply transferred to a nearby tree. He even tried leaving it at a church, but it appeared in his room that night, dripping with what seemed to be blood. Finally, in a moment of desperation, he dropped the mask in a trash bin and fled. But even there, in the dark, dank place, the mask awaited him. When he turned back, it was floating in midair, its eyes boring into his. Driven to the edge, Adebayo searched for the vendor once more. He found his stall again, but it was empty. The old man had vanished. Adebayo realized he was trapped, with no one else to turn to. He went to the Dibia, who confirmed his fears. The mask had indeed chosen him as its new vessel and could not be destroyed. Only those with a bloodline could contain the Ọgbanje. And unfortunately for Adebayo, he had no such bloodline. The mask would remain with him until his death. For weeks, Adebayo lived in torment, haunted by the mask's presence. Then one day he saw a glimmer of hope. A mysterious buyer inquired about the mask, someone willing to pay any price. Adebayo agreed. Finally, he could sleep peacefully. But at midnight, the mask returned, gliding through his window like a phantom. It had come back to him. Then something unexpected happened. The mask fused with his body, seeping into his veins. It was painful, but also strangely freeing. Memories flooded his mind, not his own, but the memories of his ancestors, the original guardians of the Ọgbanje. They had guarded the spirit for generations, but now it was his duty to continue that legacy. When the sun rose, he was gone. The hotel staff found the room empty, the bed untouched. Outside, villagers gathered in a remote area, drawn by an unseen force. They had felt the Ọgbanje presence return. In their midst stood a man, not from around there, and the mask was gone. The villagers looked at each other, then at the man. They knew who he was now. He was their new guardian vessel, the new link to their ancestors. And though he had no memories of this life before, somehow he knew what he had to do. With a deep breath, he stepped forward, ready to embrace his destiny. The villagers cheered, their voices echoing in the valley. Life would be hard, but he was not alone. He had the strength of his ancestors guiding him, keeping the Ọgbanje at bay. He had found his purpose, but at what cost? And so the legend continues, the tale of the blood-weeping mask and the man who became its vessel. Will he find a way to break the curse? Or is he doomed to wander forever with the Ọgbanje within him? Only time will tell.